Broadcasting worldwide. This is From the Third Eye. Now, here's your host, Hunter Parker.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of From the Third Eye. I'm Hunter Parker, your host as always, and boy, do we have an interesting show for you today. Today, we actually have a bashing zone, which I haven't done in quite some time. Nobody in particular is going to be bashed, just my health is going to be bashed today. So forgive me if I start coughing randomly throughout the show. I apologize for that in advance, but I'm kind of dealing with something right now that's kind of making me very upset. So I'm going to talk about that on the bashing zone today. But today, our main concern of topic is going to be related to the bashing zone, and that is some new features. And there's finally, after however long I've been doing the bashing zone and however long I've been, doing this show for a little over a year now, and I finally, with these new features, have a way you guys can participate in the bashing zone, and you guys can submit your own bashing stuff to the bashing zone. I can't wait to share it with you today. It's an incredible new way to do it, and I'm glad that I figured it out. So, so let's start off with the biggest feature of the bashing zone, and that is the bashing zone has its own website now. That's right. I created a website specifically for the bashing zone. Why did I do that, you may ask? Well, I'll get into more of that in a second, but there's something along with that is the main reason I created a website for the bashing zone. That website is thebashingzone.42web.io. That's thebashingzone.42 is in the numbers 42 web.io. And yes, that's Infinity Free that I am using for web hosting for the Bashing Zone's website. So thank you, Infinity Free. They've actually made some changes to their site as well recently to where you no longer have to install a SSL certificate when you create your account. If you use their free subdomains with your account instead of your own custom domain like a .com or .net, whatever it is you may have. If you use one of their domains, an SSL certificate is installed automatically with the account, and you don't have to renew it every 90 days. It automatically renews. So they've added that recently within the past month or so. A lot of people, from what I've been reading on their forums, are really enjoying that. Tinkerhost, which, as I think I've mentioned in previous shows, they're similar to Infinity Free in certain ways. A lot of the development of Tinkerhost was done from some help with the folks at Infinity Free. They've helped with that as well. They also have the same thing. If you use their subdomains, you automatically get an SSL certificate automatically. You don't have to renew it every 90 days or anything like that. It's done automatically. Now, if you're going to use your own domain name, it doesn't work that way. You'd have to set up your own certificate still. So they still make that feature available. But if you use any of their subdomains, you don't have to worry about that. So both sites have made those changes within the same time period. So that's good news there. So thebashingzone.42web.io is the website. On the website, you'll find some information about the Bashing Zone, like what it is and all that kind of stuff. There also is a link off the navigation bar where you can listen to the Bashing Zone podcast. Yeah, that's another new thing. The Bashing Zone is going to have its own show outside of From the Third Eye. So you're still going to hear the Bashing Zone on From the Third Eye, of course, but you can also hear the Bashing Zone as its own show. Now, the differences between the two shows, this show, the Bashing Zone on here will be, family friendly. We don't use profanity and all that kind of stuff. However, the Bashing Zone podcast will be completely uncensored. So anything and everything goes on that show, and there are no censors, there's no filters, there's no nothing. If I'm going to say the F word, I'm going to say the F word multiple times, and I can get away with it. So that's the main new thing with that. Of course, there's also a contact page with a form on it you can fill out if you have any questions about the show or any website problems or whatever. You can email me through that form. And my email address the response will come from is different, of course, than the email I use for this show, to keep it separate. Also, you can partake in the official Bashing Zone bashing board. It's a message board where you can set up an account and post your rants and all that stuff on there, and other people can comment on your posts as well. It's free to sign up. You can go to the message board page on the website and sign up. Now, as of this recording, and probably as of the date it is published, which would be for the 20th of June, the registration and login thing hasn't been enabled yet. I haven't gotten around to doing that because I've been feeling under the weather. So, but I will get to that. So probably by the time you hear this episode, it will be set up that way, and you'll be able to create an account to post. Now, anybody can read messages on the message board. However, you do need a username and password in order to post or make replies. That's an added layer of security. So, there you go at that. So there's the Bashing Zone bashing board is on there as well. Now, the cool thing about this, another reason I created the website is there's, like I said, there is now a way you can submit your own content to the Bashing Zone that will air on both shows. So basically, all I will do is incorporate the recording of your message on the recording of the Bashing Zone segment here and the Bashing Zone podcast. How does that work, you may ask? Well, the days of voicemail systems and phone numbers are obviously long gone. Nobody really uses voicemail anymore. So there's a more modern alternative to voicemail. It works similar. You can leave a message, and I get notified when there's a message, and I can log into the system and retrieve the message. I can listen to it. I can even download the message to my computer, which is obviously how I will play it on the show. The service is called SpeakPipe, and a lot of podcasts are using it now. It's a free way to allow your listeners to leave you messages through your browser. So there's no phone numbers, there's none of that. There's a little widget on the page, on the home page. All you do is just hit record, make sure you allow access to your microphone, and then leave your message. When you're done, hit stop. You can play it back if you want to, or and you can hit reset to clear it and start over if you need to. Or if you're satisfied, you can plop your name and email address in there in the form, so that way I know who it comes from, and hit send, and it will send it to me. It's a really unique way to leave voicemail messages without using a traditional voicemail system or telephone. Now, with the free plan, which most podcasts use the free plan, I've noticed. Buzzsprout has a podcast. They use it as well. That's how I found out about them. With the free plan, you're limited to your messages being 90 seconds in length. The paid plans, you can get more time. I think as long as 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. But 90 seconds is good enough, I think, for somebody to rant about something for a minute and a half. I think that's plenty for that. Besides that, the only other limitations with the free plan is that I can't customize some aspects of the widget that's embedded into the site or the voicemail page. It's another feature that they have where you can create a link to a hosted version of the widget if you don't have a website, for example. I can't customize certain things, not that it affects you guys any, but that's okay. I don't need to customize much, so I can utilize it the same way. So there you have it. Now you can leave your own rants for the bashing zone, and don't worry about profanity. I mean, if you really feel you need to use profanity in your message, go ahead, do it. Because the way the two shows work is whatever's talked about on the Bashing Zone here will also be talked about on the Bashing Zone podcast, and I will try to schedule it so both shows will publish around the same time. This show publishes on Fridays, every other Friday. The Bashing Zone podcast will publish every other Saturday. So that gives me plenty of time to edit what I need to edit. So obviously, if you're going to, the same message is going to be heard on either show, obviously. So if you're going to use profanity in your message, I will just bleep out the profanity for this show and leave it the way it is for the podcast. So that way I don't get in trouble, and that'll be that. So it can still air. So don't worry about that. So again, you can check out the Bashing Zone's website, thebashingzone.42web.io. That's the website. Check it out. Send in your recordings. You can send as many as you want, and have fun with it. It's going to be a blast. The podcast probably will start 2 weeks from now. I'm not going to start it quite yet, but but it will start in a couple weeks. Now, moving on to the Bashing Zone topic here. So, you have obviously heard I've coughed several times here and there in this recording. Well, that's something I've been battling for almost 2 weeks now. And at first, I originally thought it was my allergies, is what I originally thought. Because it started on June 5th is when the cough started. It actually startled me awake. I was coughing. I had trouble catching my breath. I was very short of breath. My wife wasn't home at the time. She was up north with her mom. So I ended up calling 911, and they came out. The ambulance came out, and they checked me out. They said my lungs sounded clear. They gave me a breathing treatment at home. That seemed to help. It opened up my airway. They didn't see any need for me to go to the hospital. They basically said you probably have really bad allergies is what we're thinking. He says, just monitor your symptoms. If it gets worse, then you can go. But right now, I don't really think it's a necessity. So I didn't go and everything, and the cough got worse as time went on. I went on Friday the 13th to an urgent care, and they told me that I had an upper respiratory infection and that I was highly contagious. They prescribed me an antibiotic, and I've been taking that since then. I started it Friday night. So I'm not contagious now, because it's been over 48 hours since then. It's been more than almost 72 hours at this point, or maybe even a little over that. So he's the guy, the guy at the urgent care, really nice guy. He said that if I continue to have the cough by Thursday, which would be exactly 2 weeks to the day that this all started, He says if you continue to have the cough by Thursday, that you should go to urgent care again. He says you can come back here, you can go to whatever urgent care you want to go to, doesn't matter. He says most likely when you tell them that you've had this cough for 2 weeks, you've been to an urgent care, they gave you an antibiotic for an upper respiratory infection, they told you if the cough didn't get any better to come back or to see somebody. He says they're probably going to want to do a chest x-ray at that point to see what you might have that's lingering from this upper respiratory infection. He says, even if you come back here, he says, tell them the same thing like they don't know what you're talking about, because chances of you getting, basically he was saying, chances of me getting him again, obviously very slim when it comes to urgent cares. It happens sometimes, but not all the time. So I'm going to get somebody different, most likely, no matter what urgent care I go to. So that's why he said it doesn't matter whether you come back here or not, because they're all probably going to want to do the same thing at this point. He says they may want to send you to the hospital for a chest CT scan. That's possible. He says they might want to do that at the same time of the chest x-ray. He says that's up to them. He says, I know that if you came back here and saw me, I would probably do that. He says, hopefully it won't get worse and it'll get better, which it hasn't gotten better, although it hasn't gotten worse either. So his theory was wrong on that end, that it would get better within a few days after taking the antibiotic. Well, it hasn't improved at all. It's the same damn cough that I've had for 2 weeks now almost. Luckily, it's not getting any worse, but it's not getting any better either. So I hope by Thursday. Now, he says if I develop any shortness of breath or anything like that, to go to the hospital, but I haven't experienced that again, so I'm not too worried about that. I have an appointment with urgent care, Michigan Urgent Care in Waterford. Really good place. I go there frequently. That's my main one that I go to. I have an appointment with them at 4 o'clock on Thursday, so we'll see what happens there. So it's annoying, and that's the bash. It's annoying. I would just wish I could know what the hell I have or what's wrong or something, because to sit there and cough and cough and cough is just nuts. So I will definitely keep you guys posted on that. With all that said, that's going to do it for this edition of From the Third Eye. Thanks for tuning in as always. You can check out From the Third Eye's official website, fromthethirdeye.altervista.org. That's From the Third Eye, all spelled out, .altervista.org. You can go there. You can check out the show. You can contact me if you would like. And don't forget to check out the Bashing Zone's website, of course, thebashingzone.42web.io. You can go there and check all that out as well. That will do it for me. I'll be back, of course, in a couple weeks for another edition of the show. If you have anything you want to rant about for the Bashing Zone, get that sent in. You got a couple weeks to do it. And I will compile them and play them on the next show. So check that out. So with all that said, I'm Hunter Parker, and we'll see you guys next time.